Which country does rotaries the craziest?
Good to see you, Mike.
Talking about V8s.
Gareth.
It's the V8.
Hey, bro. How you going? Ashley.
My brother Evan.
Oh, yeah. Nice to meet you, Evan.
Similarity?
Premix. What's the best premix? I didn't think that the motors would be fast enough compared to, like, I feel like my foot is really freaking fast.
Yeah. But naturally you just feel like it's going to be one to one.
But then he's like, oh my god, it's so freaking mean. And then we tried it on Popeye as well. And the same, it's so freaking responsive.
It just gives you more adjustability.
Yeah, we were telling me the rate to angle or whatever it was, and it's mean. My son's just guinea pigged it on a 30mm turbo with flyby. I'd say flyby, right? I find, like, with Link's car, trying to find the right pressure on the throttle, because obviously it's just a plastic freaking. We use the RX-8 throttle pedal, and then but just trying to get the right spring on that, because the spring in it doesn't feel right, like for me. So it's like trying to get that feeling to still have that response and that return to be the same.
So just picking up, guys, on what we were talking about before about the premixes, have you guys noticed, Gareth, as well on the dyno tuning, using different types of premix and how much you're pouring in, that you'll get different responses, you know, horsepower settings as well? Do you guys notice that?
I just go for the smell, mate. Whatever smells good, eh? Yeah. I'm like, what's he running, bro? It's usually at the motocross track. Mate,
so you haven't noticed?
No, we definitely do. You notice, like, especially with the cars, with my cars, that sometimes sit for a long time. Usually in competition, we're drinking through the gas. Frankly, there's nothing left in the tank. They're only small tanks. You're running 2 laps. Literally, it's a set of tyres, tank of gas, and you know that's your consumables. But yeah, we definitely notice. Like now, we've been doing a little bit of E85, and the E85 and some of the oils that we have been running, like, separate overnight.
Also injectors as well, Mike, and also carbon build up on the internals as well. Like any kind of, I guess, comments that you want to make about those things?
Just with the E85, as long as you're regularly circulating the fuel and starting the engine, that's fine. But if the car sits there for, you know, like over a month or...
Yeah, the best way to do it is whatever premix you're using is just mix it with your fuel in a little jug. Frankly, that's what we're doing it. Just leave it in overnight, and then, you know, it's like, because the cars that sit in the cafe on display, you go to start them and they're just chugging it out, freaking fill the whole place with smoke, because it's literally all the 2-strokes separated from the fuel and sitting at the bottom of the tank.
That's just your nice smelling Caster 927.
Yeah. There you go. That's my secret. 927. Freaking woo! But it smells the best, but I don't care. I run it. It's either on the limit. If you're floating around on idle and stuff, no good. A street car, no good. Street car, full throttle everywhere, all good. So five rotor, honestly, after Summer Bash, like last year was just freaking, I can't even remember. It was like every weekend, so many projects, film shoots, demos, obviously championships, and then the 5 rotor project was kind of really last minute. I wasn't even going to do Summer Bash last year, and then it was like not even 2 months out, and then someone twisted my arm to do it, and then
I was going to say in 4 weeks.
It was like a month, right?
I can remember that.
And I'm like, if I can get it back for, like, the longer I can have it back for, the longer I can finish the cosmetics and wheels and body kit and graphics and all that. But yeah, if we can get it to start, and it wasn't to, I don't know, it was just random. It was like, okay, let's make it happen, and D-Dog and the team down there made it happen. And so since then, to answer your question, I've literally just pushed it into the Mad Lab, the cafe, and it's just been on display over Christmas. Obviously down here in New Zealand, where it's summer holidays, so while everyone's gone away, they've been able to enjoy just looking at it cosmetically. The idea with that concept with that car also is to really, it's a demo car, it's a show car for film shoots. We're not building it for any world championship or any competition, so that it's not built to any rule book. It's literally as wild as I can think. And then of course working with the best people that, you know, from all our race partners. We've got Rocket Bunny doing our body kits, been able to sit down and design all that with Murder-san, Rotoform with all the wheels of the boys up in Compton, Gareth of course, PPRE, like just being able to work with the best, and for this car to be able to show off the parts, because like drifting still to general public, look at a drift car and it's got freaking flash graphics, cool wheels, bumpers hanging off, and that's it. But the true beauty of like drift cars is a lot of it is underneath that I love. So the carbon drive shafts and the sequential billet gearboxes and all the control arms and stuff that people don't see. So this car, that's why it's nice fabrication. Full stainless roll cage. Probably the biggest question we get asked, like, why stainless? Well, why not? Yeah, okay, it's got chance of cracking more, but I'm not building it for a rule book. I'm not building it for a championship. We put way more bracing in than what we usually would. And fuck, I always love to be like pioneer, you know, what I do and just do shit that's different. 5-rotor, there's a lot of world's firsts in that car, but it's not doing them to be world's first, it's just doing them to like entertain. Like it's gearbox is all mounted, gearbox is in, so we've got a 3MO 6-speed sequential, and then yeah.
Was that in it, Mike, back at your event? Was the gearbox in it? Okay,
yeah, it's
okay.
tiny.
Okay.
It's
Oh really? I didn't think there was a box.
Yeah,
It was that
tiny.
small. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it's different. There'll be no tunnel, that will be exposed, so whoever's riding shotgun can be steering at a carbon drive. Of course we'll have drive shaft hoops and all that, but for safety. But like I said, it's about like really showcasing all the parts, the brands that, you know, the support of my career, and a lot of that stuff's hidden that people don't know.
Now horsepower, Gareth. So 5 versus a 6. What sort of fuel are you going to run in it as well, Mike?
Pump gas. Well, pretty much all our NA stuff is pump gas.
Yeah, most of it's just running.
Well, we're fortunate in New Zealand, we have good pump gas, you know. Even you find 98. If we tune it for 98 and we can get frickin' some VP 110, it'll frickin' still run. For me, like the championship stuff, you got to build a car around a rule book, right? So that's where the 787, no rule book. However, being NA, we just know we can have the reliability. I can jump, like my cars are literally they're sitting in the cafe or they're like sitting on the limiter pretty much, you know.
So that's why the pump fuel's the better option, because the cars are sitting all the time, and especially like taking them around different countries and things like that. The pump fuel's the most available.
Remember that? Like, because you're trying to find like 98 or the closest to, and I remember we were doing Goodwood one year and there was Shell had this like 99 Nitro Plus, and we're like, ooh, fuck,
That'll do.
that'll do. We put it in, it was the worst smelling fuel. Like, I didn't notice any difference driving the car, but the smell was so bad, but it sounded cool and it looked cool on the sticker.
Now you did mention reliability and running 98.
I think the reliability just comes down to everything. It's like a recipe, you know. It's like, oh, this guy's the world's best engine builder, or this guy's the best tuner, or this. Well, it really takes a recipe of working with the right people, using the right parts. Like a lot of the stuff we've been developing with these companies for a long time. Haltech, we've been with them for a long time. That's a huge part of the reliability of the motor. The way it's built, the way it's tuned, the oil you use, the meticulous servicing, spark plugs, filters, like.
What oils are you using as well, Mike? I've
So we're
never asked that.
running like Mottis in Japan. So because we've got a lot of cars that are based around the world, and sometimes even the fuels sometimes we don't have the options to running the same fuels. Like it's the same. Something that's just like look for around 98. That'll do. You know, Gareth's probably like, fuck. I like Kawato. We just have Pikes Peak, right? Pikes Peak with Kawato, 4-rotor, twin turbo, nearly 1400 horsepower. Bro, like not even a minute into the stage, I'm 132 degrees, water temp. I don't even know what the oil temp is.
Celsius?
I don't even,
Celsius, yeah? Celsius?
yeah, whatever New Zealand is. Yeah.
Celsius, yeah. Okay, so engine
Really
oil.
hot. A minute in, it's 10 minutes to the top. So, but that's you know, I got to the top and people say Pikes Peak altitude, you lose power. Honestly, I swear we crossed the finish line with more power than I started. And we look at the data, because the oxygen was so thin, the turbos were overspooling, and I was also getting exhausted because I was low oxygen. I was running oxygen through this bottle and into the helmet, and like the first run, bro, I didn't even have oxygen, and all the guys were like, bro, I'm like, fuck, I'm going into tunnel vision, I can't even focus, I'm like trying to breathe, and they're like, bro, you're not even running oxygen. So they give me this like shop down the road where you can go buy like nitrogen bottles and shit, so we plug all that in and stick it up my nose, and I was kind of good to go after that. But yeah, but that coming down to like power, reliability, oils, it's the whole thing. And we ran Castrol for a long time. Mottis we're running now and all the Japan stuff, and like Mottis is an unknown brand anywhere but Japan really. But
Is that not Motul?
not Motul, Mottis.
Mottis.
Motys.
Huh.
It's a Japan company. Kawato, we've done a lot of testing in the championship. Obviously Pikes Peak, the the reliability we've had there. And yeah, so we've no like official brand oil partner, so, and sometimes it's about knowing. Of course, man, when we go compete in Abu Dhabi and bloody freaking Qatar, you got these companies that are like trying to throw a lot of money at you for a sticker on the car, and but man, I advertise what we run. Remember when we were in freaking Denmark, that dude that had that freaking, what was it, payback, and he had this little freaking thing, and it was like a steel wheel with a bar. We were doing a demo in a Red Bull film shoot in the middle of Denmark, and then we did this show, and this guy had like a little pot of oil, and it had like a spinning wheel in it on this belt, and this bar that you pull down, and he's like, you try to stop that wheel, and we pulled this bar down, and we were like three of us on this bar could not stop it, no smoke, no friction. He's like, honestly, get any oil, because he's got all these other bottles of oil, and he's put whatever in there, he's like, just get any of your oil, if you guys want to come behind the scenes and put any of your oil in there and try. So we did, and like instantly just smoking. Actually, I never chased up that company actually, but
that might be a shout out now.
There was some brand.
I don't know, I can't even remember the freaking brand name.
Yeah, the middle of Denmark.
You know, okay, it might be good in that, but then it might not be good in other things. It might be too thick a lubricant, and then your clearances are not freaking like you just.
Now,
and this becomes
You kind of just find a good product that you know is good, and then you just stick with it.
yeah.
For us, we're just not in a position to like guinea pig. Well, I kind of am now because my son's kind of coming through, and like I say, fly by wire. We're talking earlier, like little things that I'm like, oh shit, my stuff's always like in a film shoot with a big production crew that's costing a lot of money, or an event's got us there, it's costing a lot of money. Shipping cart, we don't want to be guinea pigging anything. We've run the stuff that we've been developing over all these years because we know it works. So now it's quite interesting with Link. I'm able to try some stuff, and because he's not attached to a lot of the brands I am, he can kind of try and experiment. So within our shop at the Mad Lab, obviously Gareth, Kawado, we're able to find the best. I mean, we've got good reliability, really good freaking, it's amazing.
Now,
Gareth's probably just fucking every time I'm out there, I don't know what's going on.
It's pretty big overseas.
Yeah.
We never had a spare motor.
now horsepower.
Formula Drift, right? Formula Drift in the States, like, they're like, oh, bro, how many freaking motors you go through a season, bro? I'm like, same motor, bro, no spare motor. Don't carry that flying around everywhere. Got the car, and you know, we got good spares box, but we've never had a spare motor, and we've never lost the motor. Or we lost one in freaking Gutbull because of the noise restriction, making us just putting stuff up the exhaust, and we just strangled the motor, and we just keep going until we've got it.
It wouldn't go anymore.
Yeah.
Now horsepower.
Push start. A rotor will always push start. You'll never freaking destroy a rotor and it won't go.
Horsepower on the 5 rotor. What sort of powers are we expecting, Gareth, on that versus the 6?
Hoping somewhere like around 650. Good. Yeah.
I don't really care. I don't even look at horsepower figures. I can hop in the car and I'll tell you how much power it's got.
I'll just tell them it goes good.
All I care is that I don't have to think about engine. I just jump in it and foot flat. The last thing you want to be thinking, all I used to do at Skidfest with those dual porter motors is just go, just try and get through as many gears as I can, and just hopefully it lasts by the time I'm in third gear.
Now, can we also talk about 6 rotor turbo? Because last time I was at the shop, you said that there was a project up and coming. Is it with this man? Yeah.
Not me. Sounds like fun.
And what's going on with your 4 rotor? Because you brought back the OG RX3 WAGs. Is that here today at all,
No, it's in
mate?
Japan.
Okay.
So that's my pro car for this year. So.
Because I thought that motor might have been going in that. I was trying to connect the dots.
No, so yeah, there's a lot of things around there. You can finish up the story of the 6 rotor turbo.
That's another project.
Because drifting, I didn't know what drifting was, but it was getting me in a lot of trouble because we didn't have racetracks that you couldn't come down here and go drifting on the track. When I discovered drifting, that was the turning point. At the same point in my life, I met Tony, who's literally, I guess for me, that was the turning point because the first time I ever paid for a motor was actually Alex, who I've got in my shop now, the first person I actually paid to build me a motor. Because I'm like, we just do them ourselves.
Were you trying to build them yourself prior to?
Yeah, me and the boys at Rotan came out. It's for like say do them in a driveway with some drill bits and fucking whatever we had. Didn't have a garage. The first car was $100. It was a friggin' Bugeye 323 hatch, which you'll see lying around like shit's expensive now. But we had no internet, trade and exchange would come out on Thursdays. $100, mate, you're buying a 323. I swapped my skateboard and my buddy had $200. We swapped for a fully crashed RX-7. Right, with 13. Didn't even have a freaking. Went to Kmart, bought a toolkit for like $60, like the full fold-out one, had screwdrivers and the freaking little ratchets. And just started pulling shit apart. And we pulled this 12A out of this RX-7 and got it into a 323. 13, 14 years old. How the hardest thing I remember was trying to figure out how to swap it from a cable clutch to hydraulic. Like that was a real like. Oh yeah, and then we started just pulling them apart because we wanted them to all the older boys are like.
So you're doing the porting and everything there, yeah? So Mike, you went from that scene, you went into drifting. Is that when you built the FD motor, Gareth? In the FD, the four rotor?
That was back when we first started.
Okay.
Yeah, and Warren had carried a lot of stuff over from PPRE.
Was it that car, Mike? As soon as drifting came in, you got into drifting, you went and got that car, and you went kind of all in to make that.
So Mad Bull that I got now, right? So like I had an old '78 Mazda 66, and I got into drifting not for any fame or anything. I didn't think it was going to escalate to what it did, but because it was dominated by Nissan, Toyota, and I'm like, I just want to take an old freaking rotor there on Modgies and Eagers, Kiwi As, and just freaking hack some skids. And I went there to buy the motor out of Mad Bull, which is a 30mm turbo to put into the 626. And Redline Performance were like, hey, well, if you, like, we'll give you the car for $5,000. It was an import, couldn't be registered. We'll give you the whole car for like $5,000. And I'm like, oh, and I was like, kind of went through this process and we freaking camo it, make it NA, non-turbo, and that was KiwiRE days. So we did that. We did that for a couple of years. Then KiwiRE shut shop, and then Alec went off and did his thing in Australia. Worked at Pack Performance for a long time. There was Warren and Brent, who were the two boys at KiwiRE, and they kind of went off in their own ways. And I was close with Wazza, and he started PPRE. And then so it was a freaking 7-hour drive for me down to Wanganui, but still got to hang out with Waz and the boys, you know. And I knew his like knowledge, and that was the start of PPRE. And then we just started freaking traveling, and Gareth has been there the whole way through as well. So it's outside of the Rotary community, the respect as well. People that are not, okay, they're not customers or they're not going, but they just respect the fact of, like I say, doing Formula Drift on the same freaking motor. Even those days, we were 119. Well, it wasn't for like halfway through the series. 119, well, that was as high as the haltech would read.
120.
120. I'm just...
no idea what it was about.
Yeah, I'm just freaking running it. I'm 119 by the time I'm initiating at freaking Irwindale Banks, but we ran a whole season on the same motor. We pulled it apart at the end of the year. Oh, we didn't even need to pull it apart, right? Like, it was still sweet. The fire rotor, because if I was a piston guy, I reckon the best piston engine is the inline Audi. So that's what got us kind of like, fuck, imagine, because you have a 20B, right? Whenever you got that odd number of cylinders that has that purr, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, that 5 rotor, I reckon. And so the second we fired that thing up and it had that purr, you can't tell on the videos, but in person you can just feel it. And it's the D-cell where you really, it's got the snap and the up rev of a quad, but then the D-cell has just got the most incredible rumble. And we haven't even had this thing off the track, man. It's just free revving from Gareth's freaking tune on the floor.
A lot of it's still like developing what we've got. So like we started this 4 rotors a long time ago, but then there's better computers and throttle bodies and different parts become available. We can make them better and better. So like because we've been doing them for so long, I feel like we've just made them better and better over time.
Because I'm not seeing
there's no difference between 6 and 5 rotors. We can just keep learning and keep pushing them further.
This drive-by scenario, because I'm not seeing any drive-bys on the 5 and 6 and 4.
I was just saying to Mike, we've just put one on a 4 rotor that we've got here today. It seems to be working fine. It's the first one that we've done. So.
You have to show me that car, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the next event people can see you at, Mike?
Hopefully I'll be testing in Japan this month. Well, obviously we revealed the wagon at Tokyo Auto Salon. Quite an hour doing the wiring and plumbing, and then we'll be good to get into test. In April was the first round of like the championship. They call it D1GP round 0, so it's not like a points round. It's a big exhibition. It's at Fuji, so that's kind of what we're trying to get the car going for. At the same time, we've bought the plug speed car, so we've just cut more steering out of that car and put all drift steering into it.
When are we going to see you in Oz?
Oh, hopefully we'll be back. Like last year, we're actually in Oz quite a bit. We had Drift Matsuris because like Link now is getting invites. So we had 2 events in Oz that was because of Link. So we were in Queensland Raceway for Drift Matsuri because Link got the invite. So I'm like, hey, can I come?
Mike, really quick, can you tell me really quick about this in the RX2? I'll let you be, Gareth, and then I'll come back to you. Really quick,
This
Mike.
is not a quick story.
Okay, well, yeah, YouTube.
But no,
quick.
RX3 dream car. Like honestly,
What's the history of it? I know nothing about this car.
It's RX3 coupe. This was a lockdown build when I couldn't travel. Managed to get a car in, and then yeah, cut it to pieces. This is from like the wheels. These are SSR F1s, so the first ever 3-piece wheel to come out of Japan, 1971. So everything's like era correct. We've custom built like all underneath Hilux rear end. It's kind of like mid-school, I'd say, underneath with the driveline. Man, Hilux rear, RX8 gearbox, and then old school 30mm PP carby. So my toolbox today, like we were just talking before about how I travel with a freaking container full of parts and spares and tools and all the crazy stuff. Today, my toolbox is a screwdriver with the IDA, and that's it. That's all I need. Yeah.
Do you still adjust the jets?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we changed the jets last night just because. Oh, you just know. It's just one of these things. You come in like you got one fuel line in. It's like as basic as it comes. Two rotor, IDA. You got one fuel line in. Freaking the thing drinks the whole lot, and good to go. Skids and
now
it's just been released as Hot Wheels in 2 forms, right? So you got this here. This is pretty cool. So this is the Noppo version of Trouble. So this has just been released. Well, it hasn't even been released yet, but I brought these here. We're doing a combo. You can buy the t-shirts. We've got the t-shirt merch. We've got the stickers. We've got those. And then this one here. It's also been released, which is the same, not in an Oppo, but a full premium with the transporter. So now I'm going to build the transporter. But all this stuff's on the shelves now. So.
a genuine RX3?
Yeah, genuine RX3.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
It's
it's GT as well. So there was between the different countries of whether they're GTs, the Savannahs, original factory, chestnut brown. It's more rare than a Savannah because the Savannah was the Japan.
That's what I was saying, bro. Yeah.
So now I've got the jets. It'll be 2 pumps.
Hey, bro.
Hey, how are you?
Have you modified any of the floor?
No, all that's all because the RX8 gearbox fixed into the factory tunnels. All that's stock leaf spring, just obviously been all reset, and then run the Hilux rear end. Got Series 4, Series 5 discs on the back. But being machined out so we can still fit the 14s. So they're in the little wheels. A lot of work.
Did you do that in house as well?
Yes, I did this. Pretty much 90% of this car I've done myself in lockdown because couldn't travel. No one could come out to the shop, and people were like, "You're freaking mad cutting up this car because of the value of being a GT." What value is a car if it just stays stock and it sits in the corner of a freaking garage or a museum? Like for me, I build cars to entertain myself and you guys. So, and I love to give cars their own character and personality. When you build a car and then, you know, Hot Wheels, they want to immortalise it, and then kids can enjoy it, and then they can come out here, get the merch, get the stickers. Like it's just this process that thankfully, well, not thankfully, but I have the vision, right? I always have these visions, and then thankfully I have so many people that believe in my vision and are able to make these work. Even these tyres, right? Toyo Tyres, Japanese company, massive supporter of our program. I'm like, man, we need to bring out low profile 14-inch tyres.
So where can you get these guards as well? Are they custom or?
All steel as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Steel
wow.
guards.
So they're manufactured, you made them through?
No, I didn't make them, so I found these in Thailand. There's a guy in Thailand that makes these fenders. Just there's the perks of traveling the world and meeting the Rotary community in all these different countries. As you find some people, very clever people.
Mike, can you show me the boot at all?
Yeah. Everything's just.
Now that's interesting. There's an S there.
So we put an 808 tank. It's a smaller tank. Just lightweight, fast.
Do you want to show me Alex?
Alex got his car over there.
Yes, sir.
Alex that's in our shop doing all the engine assembly and the engine build. That's a car he's been building for a long time. He helped with Kadiyama back in way back. This is the car. This is not the same car. We've done a full tribute build to Kadiyama. Mostly when you get to see the name Kadiyama with the Rotaries, they know the RX3. Obviously the yellow and green RX3 that everyone knows Kadiyama for. Well, this was before his time. Still Mazda factory racing. And these are like the only photos you can find. So I've had to create the graphics I've done myself and try and replicate everything to make a tribute. Alex has been working on this for a long time, like 20 odd years. Inside, so it's trying to keep it error correct, but at the same time, obviously to race it, rules have changed. So there's roll cages have to be done slightly different, seats have to be slightly different. You can't just run like the seats I got in the RX3. So there's a few things here. Tried some setup, so this actually runs a factory Mazda, all genuine MFR motor.
So that's quite a unique.
That there is probably worth twice as much as friggin' 4-rotor. Well, it's so hard to find. Genuine MFR, front cover, even the alternator, the little Mazda factory racing alternator, the sliding throttle bodies. Like, that's really hard to find. It makes sense. Obviously, you've got a butterfly, then you're still got to get past the butterfly. Of course, the trumpet design and everything. Like, when that's full throttle, there's nothing for it to slow down or for the air and fuel to be, I guess, mixed.
So where would you find that?
If you like it, Alex knows and work with Kadiyama, so obviously myself working with factory Mazda, we've been able to find some other of our builds, been able to find parts, but
Because that's almost irreplaceable.
it is. It's like I say, someone will pay probably more for this setup than they would for a quad rotor, because a quad rotor you can build easy. It's just you can buy all the new full parts, modified parts now to make a 4-rotor.
Now, is that peripheral port? I can't see the porting. It is a
peripheral port.
Yeah, wow. Is he going to lean on the motor? Like, is he going to? Okay.
Nothing out of our shop doesn't get leaned on, mate.
Is there any horsepower figures? I mean, are we sort of saying?
I think they were like 380, but like I don't know. Like I said before, horsepower is like it's such a because everyone's dynos are different. You know, a lot of people measure it flywheel, some measure it wheel. You know, for me as a driver, yeah, we build a lot of cars. We obviously go on the dyno, we see a lot of different figures. It's like the NA 3-rotor that we had in Australia last year, right? So that on Gareth's dyno is 391 horsepower. The dudes will say like, oh yeah, friggin' 13B PP, 400 and whatever horsepower, you know, 450, 480. I'm like, well mate, we've done like everything. Like we're still running pump gas, but even if you ran E85 on a NA, it's not gonna make that much of a difference. And like saying that you're like a 450 horsepower, yeah, maybe flywheel, but 450 wheel and an NA, like I don't know where that extra power comes from.
Yeah.
But the gearbox got an old school Hollander in it, not error correct, but again it would just make it a little bit more competitive because this thing will be racing Mustangs, Holdens, you know, all sorts of stuff, old Camaros. And it's real fun. I'd freaking love to race this. We'll go grab the coupe and we'll go for a black.